In 2017, I was doing like $400,000 or $500,000.
And then what did you guys do last year?
$10,600,000. 2019, I had 10 grand in my bank account on January 10th. I looked it up.
Yeah.
$10,000 was in my bank account, but I had not paid taxes for 2016, 17, 18 wasn't due yet until April, but I still owed for 18. So I was literally, I look back, it was 20 grand a year that I owed in taxes. So I was $50,000 upside down sitting in my office January 10th of 2019. I ruined our $8,000 job and turned it into a $2,000 job.
Oh my God.
And I was like, so as good as I thought I was at the time, and I never thought it was that great, but I still had a lot to learn. We're in double digits net profit, and even after
some challenges.
Yeah, even after I had a bookkeeper steal
a lot of money,
amazing amount of money from me. Nobody wants to work anymore. First of all, everybody wants to work. Everybody wants to feel like they're a part of something. So it's not nobody wants to work.
Yeah.
It's you don't want to train them.
Right. Right.
So the people are out there. The right people are out there. And everyone, I don't know, I think everyone wants to have dignity of work or whatever.
Yeah.
And so if you get stuck in a process, like every mistake that has happened with Safe Electric and Plumbing has been Matt Wehrle's fault, right?
Yeah.
So if I sat here and said nobody wants to work anymore, or I can't find anybody, or materials are too high, or whatever, that's all excuse.
Yeah.
Because there's other people out there winning.
Yeah.
All over the country.
Matt, thanks so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it. For those who haven't met you at a CertainPath event or training, could you share with everyone your name, your company name, where you guys are located?
So my name is Matt Wehrle, and the company name is Safe Electric. It was Safe Electric LLC. It still is actually, but we've now added plumbing. So it's Safe Electric and Plumbing, and we're dancing around with what we're going to call it because this year we're going to add HVAC. So
I love it.
Don't know whether we're going to call it Safe Electric Plumbing and Air or Safe Electric
Home Services, maybe?
Plumbing. Nah, I don't like home services. I know a lot of people do. I'm not trying to offend people that have it, but I just think that a lot of customers don't know what home services necessarily mean.
For sure.
But everybody knows what electric, plumbing, and HVAC or heating and cooling means.
For sure. And where are you guys?
So we're in Columbus, Ohio.
I love it. And we're talking for a great reason. I think I met you in 2017. And from 2017, where were you doing what? How much in electrical back then?
In 2017, I was doing like $400,000 or $500,000.
And then what did you guys do last year?
$10,600,000.
I love it. What do you guys think you'll do this year now? Especially HVAC.
Well, that's all dependent on how HVAC goes. So our stretch goal is 14.
I love it. And you have just an incredible story. I'm really looking forward to sharing it with everybody, because I told you yesterday, I'm like, we could make a movie out of your story.
I don't know about all that, but you did say that.
I did say it. I'm not lying. So, so my first memories with you, it was at an executive perspective, which is our boot camp members go to when they're new, or they can go back to. And I hadn't been in years, and it was our first one in Dallas. The company moved to Dallas, and I'm sitting in the back of the room. And on the last day, we have this thing where we ask members to stand up and share their big, hairy, audacious goal, their BHAGs. And I'll never forget you standing up and being emotional about what you wanted out of this business and life. And what was your BHAG back then? Do you remember?
So I was thinking that my BHAG was 20 million.
It was 20. Was it that big back then?
Yeah, and it was 40 trucks.
Okay.
And because it was a BHAG.
Yeah.
Right? It was something that you're probably never, ever going to get. Yeah. What is your biggest thing that you could ever get to? So I made it big enough that I could never get there.
Well, you didn't think you could.
I'll be surprised if I don't get there. I'll be mad if I don't get there now.
That's right. But to think at the time you had like a partner, you had like a couple people with you.
I had a couple people with me. I had a person that was working in the business with me, but he's since gone.
Sure.
And I had a friend with me at the time that was going to probably help me out. But
you weren't just doing electrical back in those days, right?
No, I was actually, when I joined, right before I joined CertainPath, I had just bought a few houses and I was flipping houses. So, and it took me a while to get done with those houses and get done flipping them and then get started on all the stuff that CertainPath was teaching me.
Yeah, because you didn't really get going with this until
January 10th of 2019 is the first day. Oh yeah. First day I ever went and spent a full day in my office.
Okay, because
And
before then,
not left my office since that day. I mean, I have to go out on jobs here and there, but for the most part, I spend every single morning, every afternoon, every day in my office.
Yeah,
And that had never happened. I've been an electrician for many, many years and owned my own company for many years. I never spent not one full day in an office.
yeah. Otherwise, you were doing the work.
Yeah.
That's where you felt you were needed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go backwards. Because I don't want to get too deep into where things started. Then Genesis story. How did you first get into electrical?
So I actually didn't know what I wanted to do. I know that college was not my forte. I tried to go to college. I was thinking I'd go to college. I always thought it'd be a
College town.
yeah. Well, OSU, yeah, exactly. Ohio State, go Bucks. Anyway, I always thought I'd just go to college. I don't know why I always thought that. I was never a good student in school,
Right.
but
It's whatever you get told, right?
yeah.
That's what you do next.
yeah. So I didn't know what else to do, and then I became like 21 years old and didn't really ever go to college and was working. I went to college for a quarter here and there, and I was just working. And then I talked to my grandfather, and he's like, well, why don't you become an electrician? So then my grandfather had owned an part of electrical company, and he worked his way up through, he started he started as a non-union electrician and then joined the union and then worked his way into an office at a building and was an estimator and then ended up buying half the company.
Oh, wow.
And then he was retired by the time I graduated high school. So that was all done. I didn't know that there was a path for me to become at the time a union electrician or any kind of electrician.
Right.
I didn't know what to do with it. So then anyway, I was at breakfast with him and talking to him, and he's like, well, why don't you go get in the apprenticeship program?
Okay.
So,
You're like, sounds like a good idea.
yeah, it sounded awesome to me. So then that's what I did. So then I went and got in the apprenticeship program.
Okay.
And then I worked my way through that and laid off a lot because, it just depends on, it's feast or famine with the commercial work anyway.
So you were doing commercial.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then I was laid off a lot. I had traveled from Columbus to Pittsburgh for 6 months to work because there was no work in Columbus. And I kind of got tired of that.
Yeah.
So I just studied and got my license and went out on my own.
Okay. And then what kind of work were you thinking you were going to do initially? Well, what did you
Well, initially I did both residential and commercial work.
Okay.
I did light commercial work.
Right.
I did a job at a Honda plant. I did some work at malls and stuff, mall stores. And then I started doing new construction houses. We have a big housing development in Columbus. It's not a big development. It's a big, like where there's lots of large houses. They build a community just outside of Columbus. And
Okay.
they built these 10, 15, 20,000 square foot houses all over the golf course. And I wired a bunch of those.
Okay.
And
so it's whatever word of mouth kind of came your way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So with all that new construction, you didn't get caught up in 2009 or?
No, well, so I started my company in 94.
Oh, you're right.
So this was like 98, 99 when I was doing all those houses and stuff.
Okay. Very good. So and then you were doing some, you're buying property too.
Yeah. Well, then I bought all those, then I was,
apartments or something.
Yeah. I flipped a few houses back in 2001, 2002. I flipped a couple houses. And then in 04, I started buying some properties.
Okay.
And then by 09, I had 72 units at one point.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. And then what happened with all
Well, then I went through a divorce and
those went away?
Yeah, everything went away in 2011. Even the house I grew up in. I lost the house I grew up in. So I have foreclosure on my record now. I gave the apartments back.
Yeah.
So I didn't get anything on my record for that. But then I didn't know what to do. And then my sister is like, why don't you start flipping some houses again? And I'm like, well, I don't have any money. So she did. So we started using her money and flipping houses.
Got it.
And then in the meantime, I was still doing some electrical work. I had a guy that was working for me. Actually, I had 2 or 3 guys, depending on what year and what time. It's a year.
Yeah, sure. Right.
So I'd have up to 4 guys working for me.
Right.
One time.
See a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
But always busy. You always had something.
Well, I'm never going to quit.
Right. But so 2017, you end up at EP, something brought you there. So how did you end up finding us? How do we find you?
So in I don't know. In the early 2000s, I got a letter in the mail and the letter said, talked about a guy that was working for contractors and couldn't make any money.
Yeah.
And he said, I was going broke. He said, I was up worrying about payroll every Thursday night, which was my life. He wrote the story of my life, going broke, contractors not paying him,
Yeah.
just like, and then if you do pay him, you don't get paid the full amount that everyone agreed on. And what are you going to do? Sue him? Like, you're not. So,
Right.
anyway, so then I read that letter and he said, come to my shop in Atlanta. And he goes, I only work for homeowners in their houses. And I'm like, that sounds great. And he goes, I get paid the day we do the work. And he said, I got a big shop in Atlanta. Just come to Atlanta. I'll show you. I'm an open book. And
Yeah.
I was like, daggone it, if I could ever find that guy. I lost the letter, never called him, never did anything with it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it had something to do with CertainPath. So
You know who that was now.
yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. Well, I won't tell the story. I'll let you.
Well, no, I mean, I never met him.
Yeah,
So.
you never did meet Patrick.
Yeah.
Right. Patrick
But
Kennedy.
that's the story I've heard, is that it was Patrick Kennedy's shop in Atlanta.
I'm pretty sure I wrote that letter too.
Oh,
I
really?
used to do all the direct.
Okay.
Patrick was a great man.
Well, so then I had told a guy that was working for me, Craig, who was helping run things while I was flipping houses. I told him, I said, look, if we ever get a letter like that again,
Yeah.
if we can ever find this company, this is what I want to do. I want to do this. I want to work for homeowners. I want to do however they're doing it to make enough money to do it. I want to be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
So then I got a letter in the
Got
mail.
a letter.
And Craig's like, hey, that company you were talking about, this isn't the same one, I don't think, but this is similar.
Right.
And so I read a letter that was like not the same thing, but it just said, come to a profit day
Right.
and learn about what we have to offer. And also we'll teach you what you're doing wrong, and you'll get some good nuggets along the
a
way.
steak lunch.
Yeah, exactly. So
Was that in Columbus? Or
yeah, that was in Columbus. Yeah, right.
So what do you remember from that?
Well, let's see. I was sitting in the second row on the right-hand side. I don't remember any of it. No, I do remember. So I just remember like them telling stories about how like you're not trying to sell anyone anything they don't want. How they have a book and they're like, you just like show the book and you're like, yeah, you don't have smoke detectors and you should have them and you should. And it all just like clicked at
Makes
profit
sense.
day. I was like, this does make sense. This is how they do it. They don't go in and like, that's how people always say upsell, and it's not upsell. You're just telling people what they need.
They don't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows what they need in their house. Right.
Or like,
So
what
you're
they really
actually,
have.
you're really doing them a huge disservice by not telling them
Yes.
like, that's the way I feel
I
now.
totally agree with you.
And
Totally agree.
and I felt that way at the day too. Like at profit day, I was like, oh, I've been like cheating my customers out of my knowledge.
Right. That's true. Yeah, because you don't know electric.
Yeah.
Homeowners don't know
Yeah.
electric. Right.
And-
And there's so much.
I can tell you this, I've always had smoke detectors in my house. And the first thing I've ever done, I've bought and lived in a lot of houses of my own. And every time before I ever moved into a house, I flipped every device out.
Yeah.
I switched out all new devices.
Is that right?
Yeah, every time.
There you
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I want. And until I met CertainPath, did I ever offer that to my homeowners?
No.
Heck no. I didn't even know I should.
Right.
And
So
now I
it's just
feel like I've
common sense.
cheated a lot of people out of a lot.
You're
Yeah.
making it right now.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that. I can tell you this. The customers that we go to, the best customers that we absolutely have are the ones that personally have met me in the past and that I worked on their house. And they're like, yeah, if Matt says that this is what we should have, and we have gone back and done a lot of work in those houses that I never offered.
Offer.
before.
Right. Yeah, and they don't have to do all the first day.
No,
Some break it up.
hell, a lot of them have now become club members.
Yeah.
So
I love it. All right. So I told the story a little bit of EP. What were your thoughts going executive perspective? That was our first one.
no, I was excited about going. I
Yeah.
didn't know how excited I was going to be about going,
Yeah.
but I remember staying up on the last day, and not even during my BHAG. It was before that.
Okay.
They said, does someone want to come up and talk? And I
Oh,
was
was
like,
that
yeah,
part of it?
yeah.
Okay.
I said, yeah, I want to come up. I want to talk. And I was like, and I'm not much of a religious guy, but I was like, I'm thanking God that I found this place. And I'm sure everyone in this room feels the same way.
Yeah.
And
Not always.
time proved me right about me.
It spoke to you for whatever reason. That spoke to you. That
Well, I knew what was going to happen when I left. I knew.
Yeah.
There was just no doubt. Like
Right.
every light went off and everything just
Yeah.
clicked, and I knew it was going to happen. And that's another thing. You got to believe in stuff too, or else you're never going to get
It's true. That is true.
there. If there's
Something has to drive you every day when it's hard, right? So if you don't have that belief, and then when things get hard, some people give up, but you'd never. I'm sure it wasn't easy to get to where.
No, yeah. Well, there's no quit. All right.
Right. But there's a lot of people that do that. So it's a credit to what you've done.
Well, I appreciate that, but it's just because I definitely have things in my life that I have to accomplish.
Hey, before we get back to the episode, I want to share something, especially if you're serious about predictable and system-driven growth. A few years ago, I had Sean Mitchell on this very podcast, and the numbers blew up. Most downloads, most views we've ever had, and for a great reason. He's engaging, he's dynamic, but he also has a long track record of success. As a manager in his home service company, he helped them grow from $12 million to $22 million in sales in a very short period of time. Next, he said, I want to go in the field and see if I can do it myself, and that's what he did. His first year, he sold $8.7 million in HVAC systems with an 88% closing ratio. His next challenge, he joined a private equity firm and helped train and coach technicians and salespeople all across the country to have incredible numbers as well. Now, Sean has joined CertainPath and created a program exclusively for our members called Revenue Ascent. Revenue Ascent is designed to help you reinforce the coaching and training you already have in place so the growth sticks. Here's Sean with more details.
If we took the top 2 performers out of our business for 30 days, what would happen with our revenue? Do we have a system, or do we have a business that depends on our superheroes? And when we do invest in training, does it take root, or do we drift back within a few weeks? Because when we drift, our customers feel it. And if our customer experience is inconsistent, do we really have a marketing problem? My name is Sean Mitchell, and I've lived it from every seat. I've ran the revenue engine from sales, marketing, and CSRs, and within that year, we went from 12 million to 22 million in revenue. After that, I went into the field to live the example and sold 8.7 million in that year. After that, I went into private equity as a VP of sales and reproduced those same kinds of results with comfort advisors and service technicians across the nation. I'm here now, excited to be a part of the CertainPath team, where I get to work directly with you, your comfort advisors, your service technician, and your managers to ensure that we are putting into practice the process that needs to be permanent for us to drive our revenue forward. Listen, the thing is, training is knowing, reinforcing is doing. And the gap between knowing and doing is where close rates fall, average tickets swing, and cancellations rise. We're here to stop that vicious cycle and turn it into a virtuous one. Come join me at Revenue Ascent. I only have a few spots left, but I'm so excited to work with you directly.
All right, so you finished the houses, right?
Yeah.
2019. You're like, I'm going to go sit in the office. And
So
do this.
then I went to a couple expos in 2018.
Okay.
And during those expos, I learned a lot more stuff that I hadn't done. So I got 2 vans wrapped. I bought and wrapped 2 vans with the money that I'd made flipping houses, which was not a lot of money, by the way.
Right.
So I bought 2 vans and had them wrapped and figured out a wrapping solution and everything from talking to members here.
Sure.
And so I had 2 vans wrapped. So 2019, I had 2 vans wrapped, and I went in and just started answering my phones and sending my vans out to do just work. Like I told all my contractors, look, we slowly got rid of everyone I was doing work for.
Okay, you weaned yourself off them. And you found 2 guys.
And I had a couple guys that were working for me.
Right.
And then we started from there.
Yeah.
So 2019, this is a real story. 2019, I had 10 grand in my bank account on January 10th. I looked it up.
Yeah.
$10,000 was in my bank account, but I had not paid taxes for 2016, 17, 18 wasn't due yet until April, but I still owed for 18.
Oh.
So I was literally, I look back, it was 20 grand a year that I owed in taxes. So I was $50,000 upside down sitting in my office January 10th of 2019.
And you're like, I got to make this work.
Yeah, but I didn't feel, because I had 10 grand in my bank. I was an ostrich with my head in the sand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I felt fine about life. I didn't feel like I was so.
We didn't have the pressure. Like
No,
negative pressure.
Yeah, but looking
You're
back, I don't know how.
Well, at least you had that perspective, man.
Yeah.
But you were hopeful, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna.
No, I knew it was going to work. I wasn't just hopeful. I knew that I could make it work.
Yeah. So talk about those first couple years. So you.
Well,
started
let's talk
full-time.
about, okay, so January of 19, I started answering the phone calls myself and
Yeah.
doing them, and I'm not, if my call center's listening, they need to answer the phone calls exactly the way CertainPath says. But
But
when you're the owner of the company, you can answer the phone a little differently, and your call booking rate, it should be 100%. It really should.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not, you're doing something wrong, at least 99.
right.
So my call booking percentage was very high. I answered every phone call, and then I hired someone to come in and start answering phones for me. And as we started growing, then
How many
pretty
trucks did you have when you
we
started?
ended up, well, then I had the 2 trucks when I hired someone to come in and help answer phones.
Okay.
And then I got to 4 trucks that first year. By the end of the first year, I had 4 trucks
Okay.
on the road. And I don't even know how many I have now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think I have like 28 on
Yeah.
the road. So
So
it
went from 2 trucks to 4 that first year. So you're doing
Yeah.
like 1.2?
So the first year we did in 2019, we just did $708,000 or something.
Yeah.
And then in 2020, I did 1,700,000.
Wow. Big
And
jump.
then 2021, I did 4 million.
Okay.
And then in 2022, I don't know what I did.
But it's kept going.
Yeah, and I just know that, like I said, it went from 700 in 2019 to 10.6 this year.
It's fast. It's
Yeah,
fast.
it goes fast.
So let's talk for people that are aspiring to do that, right? Like, what were some of the changes? So you said you had 4 trucks. You knew you had to get off the phones full time, right? You had to pretty much fill that like service manager role, right? And
Yeah.
the other bubble in the org chart.
Yeah.
But when did you start bringing on, I know your family, you've got family work.
So my son, Zach,
Yeah.
was always working for me
Okay.
when I had started. And then
Yeah.
with CertainPath, he was already here. And then, but he wasn't a lead electrician or anything yet. So he still had a lot to learn himself.
Right.
He had to go through and just still learn how to become an electrician at that point.
Sure.
And then, and that's a heads up that I have, that like, if you don't have family that you can rely on, you should hire the right people to rely on. I'm lucky I have family, but that doesn't mean you can't do it if you don't have family,
Sure.
because I didn't plan on necessarily bringing my family on when I started this.
For sure.
It wasn't like, oh, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Hire my family.
But you did bring, that reminds me though, in addition to on expos, you went to trainings early too, right? Because to learn how to do, we told you.
I went
you
to
need do
every
all these-
training that I could go to. I went to Service Essentials. I've been back to EP several times.
Right.
Like I do, if CertainPath tells me I need it or there's a training, I do
You
it.
go.
Like, that's my biggest advice is
Yeah.
just learn. Like,
Yeah.
you
Learn.
just have to learn.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, because we all have people that watch that aren't CertainPath members. You should be. We'd love to have you. But whatever you do, if you just watch this YouTube video and you're like, I don't want any part of that organization, just go find somebody to learn from, right? To me,
You find the right people
right
to learn from, because there's a lot of stake oil salesmen out there that really don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
That'll definitely help you out of your money.
that's true. That's true. And even more so now with the internet. I
Yeah.
see it
No,
on
with the
Facebook all
internet,
the
that's
time.
yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. But you had to learn how to do service, right? Because you can't generate additional revenue if you don't know how to talk to people, talk to customers, and explain to them why you want to be interested in doing a whole house redevice, So that's part of the training process. So that by generating more revenue, you could bring on more people, right? You could bring people into the office. You didn't have to go back into the field and start.
Right.
again.
Yeah.
So let's talk though organizationally. And I know it's been a while now. So you hired somebody to answer the phone.
So I hired someone to answer the phones,
What
and I
was
went to trainings, and I took my guys to, there was a training in, I had 3 guys working for me, and I took me and 3 of my guys went to Indianapolis, and
Okay.
you guys had a Service Essentials there.
Yeah.
And we went to Service Essentials in 2019,
Okay.
and
they bought it.
and
They got
and
it.
they were liking it. Things were going well, and and I could see. I mean, I bought in even more once I went to Service Essentials again.
Right.
So then we went to Service Essentials, and I took 2 guys with me even before that, and we went to a Service Essentials down in Alabama. I went to see Carrie Atkins's place. Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was 2018. That was May of 2018.
Yeah.
And so we were still like, it's just sometimes if you've never done it this way, you have a lot to learn.
Right.
You know, you got to get uniforms. You got to like, there's a whole
You're
element.
wearing a great shirt. I mean,
Yeah, I'm trying to. Well, I try to look. You know, I try to dress the part for the way I want my guys to look, and I
Right.
want them to look at me and see that I'm not just some guy in jeans and a polo or whatever walking around
yeah.
work. So
Right.
I don't know. I make them wear a button-down collared shirt, and I think that I should too.
That we always talk about that. Some people don't do it, but it you know, it's hard to let, you know, your shirt tail come out when you see the boss is all buttoned up,
Yeah.
right? I think there is something about that.
Yeah, no, I think you know, everything is about excellence and the
Right.
way things look, and like I mean, I'm getting ahead of the story, but we did buy a new shop, and we can't wait to make it look excellent.
I
I'm
love
so excited for when people show up compared to when people showed up to my first shop to what they're gonna feel when they show up to my new shop.
Right. All right. But back then, so you went to Carrie's. That helps too, to see what he is.
Yeah, so I use that as a vision
As a
board for myself,
Right.
like just to see. And I spent the whole week at Carrie's that week.
Yeah.
And luckily, he's a very, very sharp guy.
Very.
And
Yep.
super nice and very open book about everything, and helped me. I went through a lot of stuff, and I saw what he was doing, and I could see how I could get there.
Yeah. So then for you, okay, this is 17. That was 17 or 18.
That was 18.
So again, you're
It was
19. You hit the ground running.
I spent May 24th at Carrie's, which was my birthday. And CertainPath brought me a cake.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So okay, so you got 4 trucks at the end of that first year. What were, you know, were there any struggles? Did everything go smoothly? What are some things
So,
that
I
you
mean,
learn from?
you struggle, you have to learn. Like, so lots of times you get a lot of no's at first, like, because your guys aren't like just necessarily, they think they're going in and maybe they're a little over anxious about what they're doing. Like,
Yeah.
they're not, don't say that they're not looking out for the customer. They're not explaining it so the customer feels like they're looking out for them.
Sure.
And the customer feels like the word upsold, you know, like that's when you feel upsold.
Yeah.
Like when it doesn't,
When it's
like,
not
so,
explained properly.
huh?
When it's not explained properly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like you talk to the customer about what they want.
Right.
Maybe they're not interested in a whole house redevice like they need,
Sure.
you know, or maybe they're not interested in getting the panel that's literally has water and corrosion on it, and they don't understand. And like you've told them, but they don't care.
Right.
Like maybe they don't care. But smoke detectors are something that, oh, I want smoke well, hopefully you have smoke detectors because I'm shooting your panel.
Right. But all you can do is bring it to people's attention.
No, that's exactly right. So you don't want the customer to feel upsold, and you don't want to upsell your customer
Right.
anyway. You really don't.
No,
You
no.
just want the customer to have what they want and feel comfortable.
Right.
And besides that, they're going to use you again and again and again.
Right. If it's
And
good
that's
experience, for sure.
really a big thing. Like,
Yeah.
so many of my customers are repeat.
So did you bring on the club right away too?
Not right away.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
took me a minute. Like I was still, you know, it took me a while to get the guys used to saying we're going to be in uniforms every day.
Right. But
You
you just
know?
kept going at it.
And yeah, you just have to keep working at it.
Did you have a lot of turnover? Yeah, you hear that a lot.
So I mean, I've had some turnover. I wouldn't say I've had a tremendous amount of turnover.
Well, you found a couple guys early on, if I remember that.
Well,
And-
so
and
here's the thing. So I always feel like I speak into existence what I want to happen. And
Yeah.
It does work that way for me.
Yeah.
And I was telling at the time the woman that was answering my phones, I was like, you know what I need is I need a guy, and I don't know how we're going to find him, but he's going to show up. That's what I told her. He's going to show up. I need someone that has already done this system with another company that can actually help my guys and just be confident going into the home.
Right.
And one morning I had left the shop. I went to a dental appointment, and I was on my way back, and she called me up and she goes, your guy's here, was just here. I'm like, my guy? What guy? And she's like, the guy you've been talking about that's coming. I'm like, what? And she said, yeah, he just showed up, and he was in a company, another competitor of CertainPath's company.
Yeah.
Down in Virginia.
Okay.
He was working in Virginia doing the same thing. He had a book, he had everything. He knew and he went to another company that they had told him to go to, that he had a letter in his hand saying, this is a great guy, you're going to want to hire him. He had everything with him.
Yeah.
And so he went to the company that they told him to go to, that's no longer in business in Columbus, but was.
Yeah.
And they said, come back on Thursday when our hiring manager's here. And he's like, it was Monday morning. And he's like, so I just got out I got on Google and started scrolling. And I found you guys really close by. So he showed up and I hired him basically on the spot.
Right.
Started working 2 days later for me.
So do you feel like that helped? Everyone could see.
And it jump-started everything for us. Like, he was phenomenal.
Because it's one thing to have the boss.
His name's Tom Kelly, by the way. I'll give him a shout. Go down.
I love it. He's
He's a great guy.
He's
and he's awesome. Awesome family guy.
Yeah.
His wife at one point worked for me, but now she's a stay-at-home mom, and
That's great.
so they're good people. They're great.
That's even better.
Mhm.
But yeah, sometimes it takes more than the boss, right? You see somebody else that buys in, and everyone else sees that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, we were on hourly still when
Oh,
Tom
wow.
came, and Tom pushed us to go to commission. So after a few months of Tom being there, we got on commission, and he was like, "We want commission." He's been a crown champion every year that we've had him. So.
Yeah. Well, I may have to have him next in a couple months. I'm gonna have to do that. Have him do the podcast. I know I had Zach do it, so that's been a few years. So that's great. All right, so all of a sudden you find a champion to kind of be like, okay, look, guys, this works. You know,
And he pushed
incentivize them.
Yeah.
What?
I want to just say one quick story.
Yeah, no.
I went out with Tom one time on a job, and we were going to do a $8,000 job. Tom had it sold. And I said, you don't really have to do all this. So I ruined our $8,000 job and turned it into a $2,000
Oh
job.
my God.
And I was like, so as good as I thought I was at the time, and I never thought it was that great, but I still had a lot to learn. Tom had worked for me for a month at that point, and he's like, "You just lost yourself an $8,000 job," and I did. I lost an $8,000 job that they were gonna do.
Yeah.
So
Hey, that happens though. It's part of the learning process. Now you remember it.
They needed the new electrical panels, and they should have had them.
They should have had them. Do you remember back in those days were you doing all the training? Were you guys doing?
So we were doing trainings, and back then, and I'm sure it's still on the hub, but you had a guy come in, and he was a video of a guy that would talk about the 6 steps.
Yeah,
and
we still had,
Yeah, so we played all those videos. We started at the beginning, and that's I know you were saying to people that listen to this or whatever, should don't have to join CertainPath, but if you don't join CertainPath, I don't know how you're going to get this information. There's just too much information.
Yeah.
It's just too much information.
Right. So, but you utilize that as a tool to, again,
We utilized everything on the hub. The hub is invaluable.
there's a lot. 2,000 pages of videos, something like that. We're redoing it right now.
Yeah, you've redone it
Makes
for 4 times. That's
Right? Yeah. It makes my head hurt now that we have our own internal people designing that stuff. You guys are smarter than me. I don't know. Anyway, in terms, so you're adding trucks, you're growing overhead wise. So you had one person answering the phones. What other memories? How did the company grow, at least overhead wise, and management and stuff like that, to help you to start taking those hats off, right? 'Cause you're filling them all.
I had the call taker that then moved into more of a dispatcher role, and then I brought Liz in, who was my soon-to-be daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
And
They weren't together though back then.
No, they were.
Oh, they were. Okay.
Yeah, they were dating.
Okay.
But anyway, so she came in
Yeah.
and started answering my phones, and how do I say this about Liz? She's incredible.
Yeah.
You put a task in front of her and it just gets done.
Yeah.
It just you don't have to ask her to get it done. You don't have to, if there's a task in front of her, let's just say this. If there's a task in front of her, she just does it.
She just does it. What was her background? Where did she come from?
So she's got an art degree.
Okay. So clearly homes are,
Yeah. So then she was working for a guy who owned a bunch of bars, and she was managing stuff in the back office. I don't know what she offered.
But you were like, why don't you come work for me?
Yeah.
And
so then she started by answering my phones, and now she's my operations manager.
Yeah.
So she's worked her way up.
For sure. Okay, so she was an early hire. What other additions did you make in the office to kind of surround yourself with other shirt people?
Well, I mean, we just hired people as we needed them, I brought people in, and luckily I've actually had a lot of friends that have come to work for me.
Yeah.
People that I've known for years.
Yeah.
I have a couple people that were contractors and couldn't really, just like me, couldn't really make money doing business,
Right.
So now they're working for me, and they're saying, geez, I wish I would have known how to do this. I was
Do you remember how you decided what you needed to bring on? Like, okay, I really need to put somebody in this role.
No, you just, I don't think you start thinking about you need to fill roles. You just have jobs that need done.
Yeah.
And then you bring on people, and you don't necessarily need to have a defined, I know that you're supposed to have defined roles for everybody, but I think
You
if
had
you,
tasks.
yeah,
I
but
need
if
to
you
do
bring
this.
on the right person, if the right person shows up at your job,
Yeah.
or at your business, you just hire them, and then you find out what they're gonna do.
And you never, a lot of people I'll talk to, they're like, boy, all of a sudden that's overhead dollars. It's like that's an expense. They look at the person as an expense versus a vehicle to generate more revenue.
Everything is
just
more
go-
revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, everything is more revenue.
They,
There's not such thing as lost revenue. If lost revenue and the expense is if you have people sitting around doing nothing, getting nothing done.
but you need
But if
what they want, you need.
Yeah,
them to
but if
do.
you buy a van and you put somebody in it and you send them out and they're going to make a really good living working for you,
Right.
and you're going to be able to, afford the overhead and everything else because they're out doing the job that you've trained them to do.
All right, well, let's talk about the team today then. What's the team in the office look like? What are the different department heads? Who's running what?
So I've got a call center manager. I've got Zach, I guess, would probably be a general manager of everything. And then Liz is operations manager.
Yeah.
And then I have a plumbing manager.
Right. We'll get into that.
A plumbing service manager and an electrical service manager.
Okay, very good.
And a dispatcher.
Okay. What's Nick's role?
Oh, Nick is my finance manager.
He's your finance guy.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
So when did Zach come out of the field?
Let's see.
Because I interviewed him as a crown champion. He was still in the field.
Yeah, I think he came out in 2023.
23.
Yeah.
So what was the decision for him to come out and fill?
I just needed help in the office.
Well,
and
remember what tasks were like, we are not getting this done.
Oh, he was a service manager. Like the guys needed trained better. They needed to have, we needed someone to train the guys.
Right.
And Zach is like hella good at that.
Yeah. So that was a task. You're like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I need you to do that.
Yeah. Zach is naturally driven.
Yep.
Like he's just a focused, driven guy that just learns on his own. And he's taught me a lot. I'm not kidding. Yeah.
That's great. So when did Liz then transition more ops then?
She just kept working her way up. She went from as we got more call center people, then she became dispatcher, and then from dispatcher, then once we got on ServiceTitan, which has just been it's a lot of work to be on ServiceTitan. It's a lot of work not to be on ServiceTitan.
That's
But
true.
it's a lot of work to be on ServiceTitan.
Yeah.
And Liz is really good at just
figured it.
figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
And I remember we had a problem with ServiceTitan, and we were working on it for months.
Yeah.
And Liz came to me and she's like, "Why are you still dealing with this?" I'm like, I don't know how to do it myself, and it's just not getting done. And she said, "I'll just do it." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I'll have it done." And so she worked at work that week during it, like when she wasn't dispatching or whatever, she was working on that project, and then she'd go home at night and work from 5 o'clock at night until 10 o'clock at night that 1 week, and she had it done in 1 week.
Is that right?
And it was months.
Yeah.
Like literally months that we had this stupid problem that
She
we couldn't
figured it
get
out.
done. Oh, she's like, she
Sure.
can just get down in the weeds and get stuff done. I
That's
can't
amazing.
do that. That's not my forte.
So as ops manager, what departments or what is she running?
So she's kind of in charge of like the call center, over top of this call center. She kind of runs a lot. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of some hats for her because like
Yeah.
bringing some pain points up.
No,
I
but
feel bad for her because she honestly has way too much on her plate.
Sure, but I mean,
And she doesn't let stuff slide.
Yeah.
So our big goal this year is probably just to see who owns what,
mhm,
and then go back and make sure it's getting done.
right. But I bring
Because
it up.
nothing falls through the cracks with Liz.
Right.
It just does.
So she just takes it.
She'll take it on. And that's not the way you're supposed to run your company.
No, but that's to growing company. That's kind of how those are the pains that you
Yeah.
get through. Speaking of which, did you guys like ever, we talk about checklists and SOPs, and did you ever put anything on paper? Like we need to do this, this, and this today, every day, or every quarter we need to do this.
So
Or you're like, we're just running and gunning and
no, we
fixing it as we go. Some of that.
So I have the greatest CertainPath coach. I have Sonia, right? And I meet with her a lot.
Yeah.
And so like we have checklists that Sonia gives us, and
Okay.
we get through 1/10 of it every time before we talk to her again.
Yeah. But at least that one got done.
So something gets done.
Something gets
It's not all, and sometimes it's not always everything on the list. We have to do other stuff comes up that you don't know.
Yeah.
And, I'd be a $50 million company if I would do everything Sonia told me to do. I'm not kidding. I'm not even kidding.
I'm
If
not
I
even-
told-
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
She's shocked.
If I did what she told me to do.
I think I'm on the ball, but
Sorry, Mom.
she does. Sonia, I don't think she sleeps. I mean, and she does stuff. I'm like, she
doesn't
terrible
sleep.
person.
I know.
That's a good person to be on top of it.
I see messages in the middle of the night, and I'm like, how did you send me this email at 2:30 in the morning?
I know. She's something else, but that's good. So you had that checks and balances.
So
somebody
and I
else
have
needs
Carl
to do
come
this.
in too.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, talk. So how
And-
that's been with the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's been
How does that help having somebody come in and sit in and look?
Well, so when you're running a company that's like 700,000, you feel like everything's under control, that you can deal with it.
Right.
But then when you're running a $10 million company, it always feels like it could just go off the rails. That it's always you're going a little bit faster than you do. Right. You're comfortable.
It's like comfortable.
Yeah. So it's nice to have an adult in the room like Carl to come in and say, it's okay. You're doing it okay.
Yeah.
Everything's all right.
But when he comes in, he sits with you that first day, and he goes over your
knows his numbers. Yeah. And there's
He's a sales guy, but he's
I don't even consider him a sales guy.
Yeah.
He knows his numbers so well. I just, honestly, when I talk to the coaches and stuff at CertainPath, I realize how lucky I am that other people know their numbers and know how to do this number stuff. 'Cause
Yes.
it's not my forte.
Sure.
It's just not.
Everyone's got their strikes.
Yeah.
But you're a people person.
Yeah.
There's a lot of owners I know that are not, and that's what they really struggle with. And I think it's better to be a people person.
No, I think it is too. I think that you can hire a numbers guy.
You can.
Like Carl, you have Carl come in and say, your numbers look wrong, Matt. Why is it? I don't know, Carl. Why is that? You tell me.
Right. But that does. So I brought up Nick earlier. So when did you come in? Like, I need you to take that over.
Nick,
That's a big part. Yeah.
Nick came in while he was in college. He was working. He actually answered phones and stuff for a while.
Yeah.
He would answer phones in the summertime for me.
Okay.
And then he helped do payroll and stuff. And Nick is talk about numbers guys.
He's a
Nick,
sharp. Yeah.
He knows his numbers in his head. So it's like I double check him sometimes. So just to show that whatever, but he's always right. If he shouts out a number, it's always the number that I get to 5 minutes after a calculator shows me.
But when did you feel like we need you to take that role?
Well, so I don't know. It just evolved. I just wanted him. I knew that.
So you
Just like I just told you earlier,
Yeah.
if someone comes through your door that's the right fit, you'll figure out what to do with them.
Yeah.
And Nick got a degree from Miami of Ohio College. It's a really good school.
Yeah.
And he got a degree in finance. So he knows his numbers, and he was going to go work at a bank. And then I was like, why is he going to go work at a bank? I need him here.
So
I whined about it a little bit. Yeah. He did go and interview at a couple banks. And I was like, I'm not kidding when I tell you this. I was disappointed that he was not coming. I was like, no, he's got to come here. He's got he's his own man. So he can do whatever he wants.
Right.
He chose right.
What led us to attend the event today? We've been watching the CertainPath podcast on YouTube for quite some time, and it just had a lot of good content. So we wanted to come and see what that content was live. Coming into this, I had no expectations of what it might be. I've never experienced anything like this before, but it proved to be a truly moving and engaging experience all the way around. My most powerful insight from this is that there are other contractors just like me, just struggling to make it, to figure it out. And it's wonderful to know that there's a network of people that can help support you and have your back. The most exciting thing to take home here, what we're going to implement, is going to be the call taking and dispatching for profit. I can truly see from the coaches what the value of that is, and for us, that's going to be step one. I would recommend others come and experience so that they can find out what they don't know, to understand that they don't know what they don't know, and to be able to experience a community that's willing to help answer that question.
All this growing you're doing, though, you got to have trucks, and that means you got to find techs, and that's still an issue in this space. So how are you continuing to find?
We've been growing a lot of our own.
Okay.
We've been hiring people that seem like the right fit.
So you're always running ads.
And well, we do run ads, but we also have word of mouth, and I do have friends that tell me like I know this person and I know that person, and
Yeah.
they should. Like a good friend of mine that I used to work with when I used to stock shelves, and him and I remained acquaintances for the most part. Now we're friends again, but
Funny how that
he
works.
called me one day, and he said, "My son-in-law needs a job, and I think he's really a sharp guy." And so he told me about his son-in-law, and I'm like, okay, I'll meet with him. So I met with him and his son-in-law, and then his son-in-law was doing concrete work, but he really sharp guy.
Yeah.
And so I it took me like 2 months to get him to come over. Yeah, but he felt guilty about leaving his other company that he was with because those guys were really good to him, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, he came over and he's been a crown champion every year too. So,
But you can,
and he wasn't an electrician. We made him an electrician.
so
Trained him.
so
But he
he-
picked it up very fast.
quickly. So again, people that watch, or maybe new members that watch this, what does that look like? So you bring in a guy like that. What is his onboarding? What's his training life with you guys?
So, I mean, well, we onboard them, but then we just start sending people out with our lead techs.
Right.
And we have an install crew and we have sales techs. So we have sales install. Some guys do both.
Yeah.
Well, everyone does both at some point, right?
Sure.
If you do sales. But we have install only crews, which I think that's where most people would think of themselves. If you're an electrician, that like
Right.
you're an installer. Like first and foremost, you're an installer.
Yeah.
So for a while we did, I want to say we almost glorified the sales part of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a good thing to do.
Right.
I really don't.
Right.
Because honestly, the install's what it's all about and taking care of the customer.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because you sell a bunch of work and it's all get 50% callbacks.
well, we never had that. We've never had that.
No,
Like,
I'm
I
not
know.
saying-
I know. I'm just letting you know, like
Right.
that's not been my problem. My problem is that the install is what you're doing. You're really taking care of the customer when
Right.
you're doing the work itself, the
Right.
actual work. And that's honestly, I love to work with my hands.
Now, you've always said that to me. You love the electrical work.
Yeah, I do. I like to, like, I haven't done it in years. I don't know if I could do it anymore, but
That was your first love, though.
yeah, no, working with my hands and like just even building stuff, putting stuff together. Like
Yeah.
since I was a kid, I've always liked to put things together.
So when you interview people, now are you still doing the interviewing, or who does the interviewing now?
I have not really been doing interviewing much.
Right. So who does it on your team?
So Zach is doing it,
Yeah.
and the service managers and Zach,
Okay.
or the call center manager and Liz.
Right. So when you're looking though for a tech, and maybe you were no technical, you were a roofer or whatever. Well, I forget what the tech your crown champion was before. What was he?
He did
Concrete work,
Yeah.
concrete. So, but no, it's not electrical at all.
No, it's not. Well, he knew electrical because he had helped his father-in-law do an addition on his house.
So he'd been exposed to it.
Yeah.
But in general, they're talking to somebody. How do you know someone's a right fit at Safe Electric and Plumbing? Like because they say they like to use their hands,
So
but they got to fit the other stuff too.
they do have to fit the other stuff. They have to be a little bit personable,
Right.
but also they do like to use their hands and not just say
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they like. I mean, I guess anyone can say that. Like,
Right.
what have you ever done? Have you ever changed the oil in your car? You know, I mean, I guess that's not a thing anymore. But
Right.
when I was a kid growing up, if you didn't know how to change your oil, you weren't like the kind of person I was that worked with your hands.
Right.
You know.
So that's the stuff you guys ask in interviews. So you try to get
like,
to their
yeah, you try to ask if like what they've done, like
Yeah.
what, like, have you worked? Like I have a young female woman that works for me, and she was just out of high school, and she came recommended from someone else, and she actually lived a couple hours away, but she
Wow.
moved to Columbus to come work for my company.
Wow.
And I was talking to her, and she had worked at Menards or Home Depot or something.
Yeah.
She was talking about carrying ladders around and how she's
not afraid to work.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she also was a wrestler. She was a
Oh my
female
gosh.
wrestler.
Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
not afraid of much if you're a
Yeah.
wrestler.
So I know. So like when I had learned that she was like, she wasn't afraid of work. She wasn't afraid of heights. She wasn't afraid of carrying the ladders around. She was like, she told me all about like the stuff she had done
Yeah.
just at Menards and
Yeah.
how
And
she
it
felt
checks
like some of the
boxes.
guys. Yeah. It checks boxes. So
Oh yeah.
you don't know necessarily how your interview process is going to go. I guess certain people, you just can feel it, I think,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
You feel if the person's a good fit.
Okay. But you need those people that are personable and they need to be willing to work.
Yeah.
That's when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then you go and they do the ride alongs. How long will
The
somebody?
best people are already working, by the way.
Right.
You know, they're they're working for someone else. And though we heard, like, I have a lot of people that work for me because I think we have a really good culture. And I have people that work for me that have told other people, you want to come work here. This is where you want to be.
You mean a lot of like electricians?
Yeah. I've got people from other electrical contractors, not because I went and solicited them, but my guys went and solicited them and told them,
how great
this is you. Yeah. They're friends with them. And they, yeah.
Now, I will say, having done this as long as I have, there's always there's sometimes challenges with those guys that if they're the type that are the company that just go fix the one thing and get out. Right. So there's a mentality.
Had that. Those are not the guys I've brought over.
Okay. Yeah.
But I have had,
You've run into that, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I've had that.
Yeah,
I did have that. The guys that are here, I'm not, I guess I only count my losses because they have so few of. Now, I don't think about the people that have left, but there definitely were people that left that couldn't get it in their head that we don't just fix an outlet and run out the door.
When do you pull the plug on that, though? You got to, you give people grace, right? Like, I see potential in that person, but and then is it you just can tell, like, they are just, it's the fifth time I've told them,
I don't know. I mean,
you just know.
I don't think there's any time.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times they so we've had a couple guys that weren't, like, how I want to say, they didn't like the sales part of it. They didn't like going to talk to the customer. And now they're installers and they're making a lot of money being installer.
Right.
Really good. I mean, that's one thing I'm really proud of. Like, people can say, oh, well, they overcharge, they do this. Our guys make a decent living and they should make a decent living.
Absolutely.
Like, it's hard work.
Yes, for sure. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, we have customers sometimes that are like, well, I should come work for you. And I'm like, well, maybe you should. This is hard work, though. If you want to work hard and do this, then you can make a good living at it.
Yeah. And you're right, as you should, because they're demand. I mean, electricians especially. And then, they're high demand. And there's not enough getting into it. But you mentioned the installer part. So I got to talk about, when did you decide I need to have an install department versus just everyone installing their own work?
Well, I mean, it's just evolved over time. It's getting more and more like to where you have more guys that we're trying to push to do just.
But maybe some guys didn't want to do the talking part. They'd rather just do the work.
Yeah, and they're really good installers, right? Yeah. And they're good to talk to me. Like, I love to talk to my guys. I love to talk to the guys that we have. Like, I like them.
And that's
but not everybody can stand in front of a customer and talk to the customer about the problems in their home.
Right.
So. Yeah, so then we went to the sales install model.
It's been a couple years.
And it's been almost 2 years.
So how many crews install crews do you have?
I think we have it just depends.
Is it flux?
Everything's in flux. So we have like 7 guys that do pretty much install only, and then we send an apprentice out with them, or we'll send a couple people with them, or I don't know. Everything's in flux all the time.
Yeah.
But we do have guys that just do
install.
Like, they don't ever run a sales call.
It was just at some point you're like, that guy's really good. He's just not great in front of the customer, but he does great work. He's super personable.
We've had a couple guys that were doing sales and not really making good money at the sales install, doing it all themselves. They were not they weren't that great at it. And it's just a different skill set.
For sure. Absolutely right.
We've had guys that are no good at doing electrical work and we have to get rid of them. Right.
Yeah.
But if we have someone that's good at electrical work and good at talking to someone, then we use them for sales install. If we have, they're not necessarily like, they're good at talking to the customer. Like, most of my install guys, like my customers, if you read like our reviews, my install guys get mentioned in those reviews all the time. So they're obviously good at talking to the customer.
Yeah.
There's just a disconnect about, it's not for everybody.
For sure.
It's really not.
For sure. So for people that are watching this,
it took me a minute to get it. Like, I lost an $8,000 job.
Right?
I had 2 years experience at that point of learning this.
Yeah. No, it's
when I had lost that, I had already heard the system for 2 years.
Right. Well, no, not everyone bats 1,000 either. Every once in a while something happens. For people though that are intrigued by that, what's the pay structure then because you're doing commission, right? For those. So how are installers paid?
So they split the commission.
Okay.
It's 50% of the commission goes to the installer and 50% goes to the sales guy. Now we're talking about on whole house rewires where whoever sold it doesn't have to spend but 2 hours in the house with the customer.
Right.
I don't think they should get 50% of that, and then the guys doing the install.
There for a long
And
time.
yeah, and whole house rewires. Don't get me started.
It's good money though.
No, it's not.
You don't know. It's just it suits them to be a headache.
No, because if you, I mean, it could be good money if you sold it at for $100,000 for 1,000 square foot house.
Yeah. Right.
But it's you're better off most of the time anyway. I mean, unless you have knob and tube in the house.
Right.
For the most part, I think you're better off just going in and doing a whole house redevice, a new panel, and putting arc fault breakers in.
And calling it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saving that's what I would have done in my houses.
Right. When do you tell people, when do you make the flip? Like when you're like, okay, does a ticket hit a certain threshold where Bob, the electrician's not doing the work himself, he's now selling it?
Every job's different.
Every job's different.
Yeah.
So how do you make,
if they can do it in a couple hours,
okay.
just stay there and get it done.
Yeah.
If it's going to be an all-day job, or sometimes it's a 2 or 3 day job,
okay,
then they don't need to do it. They just if it's a 4-hour job, they probably don't need to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that just
But if they could do it in an hour and a half,
okay,
I want them to stay and do it.
Yeah. Are they calling Zach or who?
They call we have a service manager.
So you have a service manager.
Yeah.
So they call him.
Does that. Yeah, they call him. Or they call Zach, one of the two. If the service manager's on the phone, you know?
Yeah. And they make that decision. Like, can you do it today? Or no, it'll be a 3-day. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So,
I mean, the goal is to do some work, get something started. You don't want to just walk out of the house and be like, okay, our guys will be back someday. Because, they already heard over the phone. They've already seen our advertisements. We're going to work for you. We're going to try to get it done that day. Right. And so now all of a sudden they're like, I thought they were going to get it done that day.
Right.
So we do want to get something done.
Started.
Right.
Yeah. So, well, that's your job then.
Yeah.
I want to talk plumbing. So you did what, 2 million this year in plumbing?
We did 2 million last year. Yeah. 2025, we did 2 million.
And was that
that was our first full year. Yeah.
Right.
We had started like 6 months worth of plumbing in the year before. It takes a while.
Yeah.
It doesn't just I'm very happy with my $2 million number.
Right. Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Especially first full year. And you bought a company, did you not? No, you didn't. You brought somebody in though. That had plumbing experience.
I brought a guy in that had plumbing experience, and
that wasn't the smoothest.
No, it didn't work out well. And
right. I
learned
not to
I learned
people to learn. Yeah.
No, I learned that it's very important that you hire right.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I thought I was hiring right because everything that had been told to me was going to be one way, and then everything once it got started wasn't that way.
Yeah.
So then we kind of got stuck, and then anyways, and then we replaced him with a service manager. And
who was that?
We have a service manager named Brett.
Okay. Plumbing background? No plumbing background.
No, he came from he has a big plumbing background.
Okay.
He had worked for another big company in town, actually a couple big companies in town.
Okay. And were you just actively recruiting, looking?
And we put out that we were looking for a plumbing manager.
Okay.
And we actually put out, that's how we found some of our better hires that are not plumbing managers, but we put out that we were looking for a plumbing manager, and we brought some guys in to interview for that role, and they weren't really the right fit for that role, but they were certainly the right fit for running a truck for us, and that's worked out well for us.
That's great. That's a good nugget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were they in a management role previously or currently?
No.
They were aspiring to be a manager. Yeah. And you're like, well, maybe not now, but
so when you're looking for techs, even if you're not looking for a manager, I would say put it down there and you might find the right person.
Right.
You might find a manager that you weren't looking for, and you also might find some techs that could possibly turn into a manager someday, right?
That's interesting. What other, so, you had to find the right person for that plumbing. What other challenges or things that, as you're building out that department, you're like, it was hard. I
had to learn things like what's a toilet.
I've been sitting on this thing for years. I wasn't sure what it was. Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know because I haven't done the HVAC yet.
Right.
So I'm told that HVAC is different.
It's a different model. But you do the sales install, so you're getting a little.
So yeah, and that's what we're doing with plumbing too.
Okay.
We're doing sales install with plumbing too.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a guy that does most of our install work, Michael Feeney. He's a great guy. I don't know how we got him, where he showed up. He just showed up. He showed up because we were trying to hire someone. He didn't show up for he just wanted to do install. That's all he ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's what he came over for, and he's a phenomenal installer.
Okay.
And very personable guy, really nice, and been a wealth of knowledge for us too.
That's great. So
Yeah.
you find the right people, right?
Yeah.
It makes it a lead.
Yeah, and our service managers, the plumbing service manager, he knows. He's like been around it. He actually taught he was running an apprentice program at another company, another big plumbing company in town. So like we've been lucky with the people that have shown up at my door. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like your people do a good job recruiting for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Training wise, like with plumbing, did the techs all the electricians and plumbers come together for training, or do you kind of keep them separate?
No, well, so we have a morning meeting on Monday mornings where they all come together, and then we do separate trainings.
Okay.
The plumbing manager talks and the electrical service manager talks, or Zach talks to the electricians. And then we also have apprentices in both, and we have a guy that's running apprenticeship program training for them. In Ohio, it's not like other states. I don't know.
With the licensing.
Yeah. I have the license, and I have a licensed plumber.
Right.
And other than that, other than that, we can just dub whoever.
Right.
I dub you electrician today. Like it's kind of crazy.
It is crazy, but it's easier to scale that way, because
Yeah.
in other towns, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know how I'd have to scale if I had to wait around for people to get their
4
license
years,
or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. What are those
Or I'd have to get people that work for other companies with all their bad habits.
That's true. I mean, it's a
So
struggle.
it's this grow your own text thing really works well for us.
Yes. Those meetings you have, like the plumbers, it's not all technical, right? I'm sure there's a lot of communication stuff.
It's mainly communication stuff. There's some technical stuff, but we bring in other people too. Like we brought in other companies to come in and talk about their water softeners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've done, there's a guy that we buy the Surge Protectors, PSP, and we've had him do Zoom calls with our guys to teach us about surge protection and what it means and how it works and why ours is the best.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Have you done, are you guys doing a lot of drain and sewer and drain stuff?
So,
Coming?
we do have we do draining, and we have a guy we sub out
Yeah.
to the dig.
Right.
We have a couple different guys we use,
Okay.
but now that I just got a new building, so when we move into that, I'll have the room and the ability to get the dig equipment. And we're going to do it ourselves. And I heard
It's very good.
CertainPath is going to start their drain cleaning back up. I don't know what you know about this, but
It's in the works, from what I understand.
yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, I was going to beat the bushes while I was here, see what I could figure out.
That's
I
right.
need to talk to.
It's very lucrative. It's a good business.
So
That's great. So so how much was of that work at $2 million was plumbing versus doing digs and drains and stuff like? Don't know. Stop you.
did you hear earlier when I was talking about not knowing my numbers?
Hey, that's right. You surround yourself.
You want that? You need to have a different podcast. You need to have Zach here.
I need to have. You know what? I thought about having all three of the three. Maybe the whole team, but I was like, I don't. It gets hard to manage an interview with that many people.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I need to have them on and dig into some.
Yeah, if you want to learn about my company, that's spot to start, Bob.
That's hilarious. A lot of this we're talking the people side and service, but lead acquisition, it's hard now, right? I mean, you've got internet marketing, and it's so different than when I started, and it was like yellow page ads. You put a yellow page ad, we'll write it for you, and it would work, and then maybe you got it in a TV or something, but it's so different. Lead acquisition. What's working for you guys now? How are you?
Our biggest thing is Google local services.
Okay.
That's where I get the majority of calls that are not clubs or former people. Like, I would say that's my number one lead source every month over month is,
Is that right?
We had an incredible amount of calls. So we're way down this month. Like last month, January was way down by, I want to say Zach told me December we had almost 500 calls from that one source. That's a lot of calls.
That's a lot of calls.
Yeah.
Wow. So what else?
Phone calls. I don't know how many of those turned into,
right, converted. Well, yeah.
We're doing a 30% close rate. Is that good on the phones?
I don't know. Because I've already cut that note. Yeah. Sonia, I know that's not right. I know that's not right.
Right?
No.
No, we actually have a really good close rate in our call center. We have a good call center culture too.
Yeah. How many people you have in there now?
We have the call center manager and 3 call takers.
Call takers. Who's doing dispatching then?
Tara does my dispatching.
Okay. So she's in there with the 3?
No, she's on her own room.
Oh, she's on her
away
own?
from. I don't really like the. I think dispatch is part of. I don't.
More service.
I think
I
it
agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know when I started, it was like very much, you answer the phones, you dispatch.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's what I did.
No way. But then it never evolves from that. Like, so, and I think.
Yeah, I think it needs to.
Yeah.
I don't think your dispatcher needs to be with your call center.
Yeah.
I think they should be apart.
Well, because they should be working with your service managers.
Exactly. The dispatch and service managers work together.
Totally agree with you.
And when you get the call center mixed up with the dispatch, things go sideways.
Yeah.
Just on job sites, because the dispatcher knows things that the call center doesn't know that they shouldn't necessarily need to know, and can then influence things.
Yeah.
The wrong way.
Does your call center manager, does she train with the girls or the people in there now, and keep them? How does she make sure they're full?
She's training them.
Yeah.
We're
just bringing it up so
training
people
them.
know that. Yeah. So this weekly, they're listening to calls, coaching moments, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, I do want to circle back to marketing because people love to talk marketing. So you mentioned that one lead source. Is anything else working for you?
So, I mean, that's my main lead source.
Yeah.
And then we have pay-per-click, and then we have we're doing some streaming audio, and we have a little we have a streaming commercial. It's on our website. We had a jingle made up, but recently I think I'm going to go back to what I was doing a couple years ago, where I think I need to be the face of the company, and not like with PE coming in and buying up everybody.
Yeah.
The thing that I have over the other companies now is that we're not PE. We're a family-owned company. And I'm the face of the company, and I just need to be on TV again.
Yeah.
Saying, I'm Matt Wehrle, I'm local, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I own this company, and
Do you
my
like-
kids work here, blah, blah.
Yeah. He should have, honestly, I think you and I talked about, you should have, I don't know. Are you doing traditional TV, or this is just all internet?
We're not doing any traditional TV, but I am going to go back to, I am going to go back to, like, I was on the news.
You do the news.
I was doing we'd be doing the news either in the morning or afternoon, or sometimes both.
Okay.
Just doing 30-second spots with me on it.
Right.
And we were getting a lot of, people would say, oh, I used you because you're family owned, you're local, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And
you
I
stopped-
kind of let that go by the wayside with my new marketing company, but I'm going to go back, and it's not their fault. Don't get me wrong. I asked them what to do.
Right.
And we came up with a jingle, and we'd already done other commercials and stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't think I think all the commercials need to just be local company.
Right.
That's my gut.
Yeah. No, I think in home services, you want to know the person in your home, or
Exactly.
Yeah. I really do think that that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because the guys that do it well, typically they have their face on it.
Yeah.
For the most part, I would say that.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm going to ask you a number, and you're like, I don't know, but marketing spend, you do the 10%, more than that?
Or less.
Less than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're about 7 or 8% spent.
Okay. And I guess, is it, do you feel like maybe the clubs have been a big reason why you haven't had to spend as much, or why it's just word of mouth?
My marketing spend is up compared to where it was. I was at like a 2 or 4% marketing.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Clubs help out a lot, and word of mouth, and having 28 big bright yellow trucks running around town.
They're sharp looking trucks too.
That look like moving billboards, and I don't let them sit at the shop either.
Okay.
Like, I have people that don't drive trucks for me during the day. If we have an extra van, I have someone take it home. Take it home, put it in your neighborhood, and then we get calls from every neighborhood that we're in.
Yeah, it's a moving billboard.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of money at first, but when you're little but then you see,
it's a lot of money as a real billboard. So but if you have a billboard that you actually are making money on, and it's a billboard, that's mm-hmm.
You mentioned a couple times, and I'm kind of shotgunning everywhere, but you have the new office. You decided to do the new office.
Yeah.
What, why to do that? Just run out of space?
We were really tight. There's no way we couldn't even grow. We can't get the plumbing company to do the dig work or anything else. We don't have enough space where we're at.
Right.
So the new building is we could be there in probably for 10 years. Like it's a nice size building.
When's it done?
So we're going to move in and like they're almost done with it now. Like
Okay.
we have so much space. We don't know. We were going to do all this stuff to it before we moved in.
Okay.
And then I just got to thinking about it. What if that's not what we want after we move in?
Smart.
We have plenty of, we have offices we're not even going to use for the next couple of years there, you know, but I can't be moving every couple of years either. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm biting the bullet and moving into a much bigger space than we need right now, knowing that we're going to fill it up someday.
When does the move happen?
So it's like probably 30 days away.
Yeah, do you have it all planned? Because I've done it.
I know, I don't. I was going to actually, I came here to talk to people.
Yeah.
I did. That's what I was going to do.
Who did I interview? I just talked to someone not long ago, and they're like, I did everything wrong. They're like, I wish I had a better plan on it. I'll if I can remember it. Talk to many people.
If you know someone that did a move.
Yeah, I know. I just interviewed somebody. It must have been in Cabo, and they're like, I did this wrong. I should have planned it out better. But yeah, you should just.
Yeah.
I know enough guys who'll be at this Eagles event that have definitely done it.
Yeah.
So.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right. So HVAC.
Yeah. Well,
this year
we're hoping to get it started. I don't know when the first truck will get rolling or anything, but we're hoping like June maybe. I don't know.
What does that look like? What do you want? After doing plumbing and doing a new vertical, you learn some stuff. So
we just know that this is what we learned. We want to hire the right person to be the service manager of it, you know, to get us started.
Right.
Like someone who really knows, someone who's really sharp at it.
Right.
So that's where we're at. We're
start with that, and
we're going to find the right person. I know the right person is going to come along. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so from there, they'll help you find guys. You'll get the call. I mean,
I think if I find the right guy, he'll bring a couple people with him.
Yeah,
probably
so.
And not only that, and then I don't need, then we'll just grow our own from there, right? And then maybe those guys will bring some people in. But
how did you know the plumbing guy wasn't a good fit? How long did it take? How did you know?
When we had to do all the stuff that we were doing that he was supposed to be doing, and I don't think he could do. I don't think it was not that he didn't want to.
Excuse me. Sure. Just wasn't a skill set.
Yeah, it's not a skill set.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. What challenges in the company are you guys like working on now? Like, what are things like we got to get better at this? We got to get better materials.
Say everything. We got to get better. Like our warehouse is a mess right now.
Okay.
We don't have it all done in ServiceTitan the right way.
Okay.
I got to get.
Who manages that? Who's the champion of the warehouse? No one really.
So we're working on that.
You're working on that.
I have a good friend of mine that came in to help me run the warehouse, but I think honestly, it's just a bigger job than what either MRI ever anticipated.
Yeah. That's one that hampers a lot of folks.
Yeah.
You don't do any consignment then or any of that kind of stuff.
No, we did originally, but then I didn't know what was mine and what was theirs, and I don't know whatever happened with it.
Okay.
So then I just got rid of it. I'm like, okay, just like tell me what I owe you. I'm done. I don't want to guess anymore.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a good nugget for people. All right, so you got to work on that. What are some other things that Sonia's needling you to get done?
I'm not kidding you when I tell you every single thing. Like we have to get better at everything.
Yeah.
But it's every day. It's fundamentals with going out, and you got to answer the phone calls the right way. You got to market the right way. You got to call the people back the right way. You got to it's literally football. It's blocking and tackling.
Yeah.
It is.
Says that all the time. Yeah.
She does.
Yeah, she does.
Maybe that's what because you
got it.
Yeah. So he's a Buckeye at heart.
That's right.
And we know a lot about blocking and tackling.
That's true. So when you guys get together, is it the management team often to go, okay, we know we need to tinker this. We got to get materials right. Like, how do you guys tackle all these little issues, right, that you need to smooth out to have a better operating business?
I mean, if I knew the answer to that, like we should be doing it better.
We should frequently.
We should be getting together more frequently.
Okay.
It's not happening.
Okay. Well, that's something that's right.
Yeah, there's a lot going wrong. You're
still making money on it.
No, we're doing good. We're in double digits net profit, and even after
some challenges.
Yeah, even after I had a bookkeeper steal
a lot of money,
amazing amount of money from me. But I got most of it back.
Did you?
Yes, the bank gave it back to me.
If you don't mind, I mean, we won't talk money, not numbers, but this is because having talked to people for as many years as I've had, this happens to an astronomical number of business owners.
Well, this wouldn't have happened to me if I would have done the blocking and tackling right with my warehouse numbers. If I would have had my warehouse together the right way, never would have happened.
But if you don't mind, can you share what happened so people will be like, oh my gosh, I didn't even
So-
think that could happen.
So she set up a company.
Yep.
She had no, like, I have a finance guy. I got Nick. I got someone I trust with my money.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you to trust anyone with your money if it's not your son.
Yeah.
I have my son, so I trust him. It's his money too.
Right.
So I trust him with it. And so my bookkeeper had no access to my banking at all.
Yeah.
The only thing she had was QuickBooks. So she could see sort of my banking numbers based off of QuickBooks.
Yeah.
And she opened up an LLC and she called it Supply House. And she started drawing ACH out of it, which that's why the bank gave me back my money, is because I never approved of any of those ACHs.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, it's 60 days. But anyway,
How many years was she doing this?
she did it for 13 months.
13 months.
She did it. She started about a month after she got working for me.
And you were nice to her too. Like, didn't you front?
I gave her, she got in a car wreck and she needed to buy a decent car. And so I gave her a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
And then she paid me back with probably my own money.
Right.
But she paid me back. But I put her on a payment plan.
Yeah.
And like, whatever.
But this stuff happens. I want people to hear that, not to rub your foot nose in it.
No.
But people need to
No,
realize
it does happen.
It
And
does
I'll
happen a
tell you
lot.
the very first thing, I called my son Nick up when I was realizing what happened. And I said, I think the bookkeeper is stealing money from us. And he
What
said,
took you off, by the way?
well, so she did a couple things too. She also used other people's credit cards. And okay, that's a good one I should talk about.
Yeah.
She used other people's credit cards. I looked at her credit card to see what was going out, because I know that if she's buying stuff on her credit card, that's the one credit card I needed to pay attention to.
Yeah.
She used other people's credit cards and we're saying, oh, and she's the backstop for whether or not people are buying gas or doing like whatever.
Yeah.
She was the backstop on it.
Yeah.
And so she got a hold of other card numbers and was buying stuff on Amazon and other things.
So you called Nick then, you said?
So I called Nick and I said, I think she's the bookkeeper stealing from us. And he said, oh, no, I doubt that.
Yeah.
And I said, and so then I sent him some screenshots and he was like,
Oh, boy.
oh, he goes, okay, we'll talk Monday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was over the weekend. And
So what do? You just call the authorities and then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I walked her out. I had her, like I said, look, you're not fired. We're looking into the books, but
Right.
the numbers aren't adding up. And so you're temporarily suspended. And
Yeah.
And then
That's where it's kind of at now, right?
that's where,
Yep.
the police are involved a little bit. They
Right.
can't get a hold of her, but they're still building their case.
Yeah. But I brought it up just to be aware of people. This stuff can happen,
Yeah.
And I know you say
My
I don't know
numbers
if it-
looked good last year, but they didn't look as good as they've
Good.
been.
Yeah. Right.
And we couldn't figure it out. And the only thing was my materials were a lot higher.
Yeah.
And I even went to my warehouse guy and I said, do we buy stuff from supplyhouse.com or Supply House LLC? Because yes, we do. I'm like, okay. And like, I knew enough,
Yeah. Right.
but
Some smell right.
Yeah.
And it took you a few months.
it took forever to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like Carl was at my shop saying, you guys got to get your inventory under control. Look what's
Yeah.
going on. I was just thinking that, I don't know.
Too much stuff on trucks or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's a life lesson. But I'm glad that you had the business was in good shape, that you could take that hit
And not even notice.
and not notice it.
I mean, I noticed,
Yeah.
but
But the lifestyle.
I would have
yeah.
taken those numbers any day and I think most companies in CertainPath would take the numbers that I had.
Still double
that I would-
digit
Yeah.
profitable.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Even with
On
that.
a $10 million year.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be very happy with my numbers.
All right, I want to do some wrap-up questions. I could talk to you for 3 hours. I always enjoyed chatting with you. If you had to look at yourself in 2017, start over. What would you do differently? I mean, you've grown quickly, but
The thing I would have done to get to where I am quicker, the main thing is I would have dropped everything else and just started doing every single thing CertainPath told me to do.
Okay. We didn't rehearse this, but
No, I would. No, I'm telling you, that's
Yeah.
what I would do differently. I wish I would have just sold those houses and not done anything with them.
Yeah.
And just bought uniforms and started practicing doing the the book and doing it the right way
Yeah.
and going out to customers' houses starting in 17 and not 19, basically.
When you see, and again, we've got a lot of members, and at expos, everyone comes together. It's great. But, there's some people that are aggressive with it, and there's some people that, well, I'm going to get around to doing the book, or I'm going to get around to doing this. Well, why, when you talk to those people, what do you think? Why do they stagnate when people aren't as aggressive? Like,
I think they're not bought in.
they're not bought in.
I think they need to put the vision board in front of their face and say, look, this could be mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I'm not special. Like, I've been involved in other companies where I saw, not even been involved with, but seeing other people. And I always felt like, oh, well, he can do that.
Yeah.
He can do that. And I hear people say that about me all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like the least smart guy in the room, of any room I'm in. And we're laughing about it, but it's true. Like, I'm not brilliant. All I've done is got up and gone to work every day.
Right.
And done what I was told to do by CertainPath.
Yeah.
If I could have never figured this out on my own.
Well, you kept looking forward, right? I feel like that's the vision you push yourself, right? Like, I think some people get stuck in the rut. Like, they look at the problem.
Well, this is what I can tell you. I do know some people that are in CertainPath, and they know their numbers way. Oh, my number to this and that. And it's like, okay, you know your numbers so well. Why aren't you doing blah, blah, blah? Yeah. Knowing your numbers isn't where, I know, okay, knowing your numbers is where it's at. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You do need to know your numbers. It's very important to know your numbers and why you know your numbers. But what are you doing with those? That's a grade card that you got. And you just maybe you got an A, maybe you got a B, you got a C. But what's your goal for, where are you going with this number? You have this number. Now, what are you going to do with it?
Right. Yep.
So if you're going to use your numbers and you're going to tell me you need to know your numbers, then you better be telling me what you're going to do with your numbers.
What's one thing that maybe matters the most that we haven't talked about? Anything that comes to mind?
Not really. This is where it's at. A lot of people, nobody wants to work anymore.
Yeah.
Or
you hear that. Yep.
I don't, first of all, everybody wants to work. Everybody wants to feel like they're a part of something,
Yeah.
Like, if you, I can't, so it's not nobody wants to work.
Yeah.
It's, you don't want to train that.
Right.
And so the people are out there, the right people are out there.
Yeah.
And everyone, I don't know, I think everyone wants to have dignity of work or whatever.
Yeah.
And so if you get stuck in a process and like every mistake that has happened with Safe Electric and plumbing has been Matt Wehrle's fault, right?
Yeah.
So if I sat here and said nobody wants to work anymore, or I can't find anybody, or materials are too high, or whatever, that's all excuse.
Yeah.
Because there's other people out there winning.
Yeah.
All over the country.
That's true.
And nobody's buying. Nobody's whatever. I don't believe that.
Right.
I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah. How, I think a lot of your success, there's a lot of reasons, but culture, though, you've mentioned a couple times. I feel like working for you would be fun.
Yeah, well, it is fun. Like, if I'm not having fun, why am I at work?
Right. So, how do you nurture that? Is it that's just who you are, and you're out and you're talking to everyone every day? And
I do talk to people, but we do nurture it. We try to, I don't know, everyone always have your company Christmas party and have your
all the stuff.
But there's more to it than that. I'm hoping that when I get to the new place, I'm going to do some more, just have I have a couple goals and I don't want to give them away, but
No.
I do want to have maybe someone come in and make breakfast on Friday mornings for everyone, in a food truck or something.
Yeah.
And the guys because our guys show up to my shop every day, everybody.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are well, we dispatch from home. And it is a waste of money. Don't get me wrong. But exactly.
Yeah.
But look what I have. I have a culture of people that want to be, so you can say, is it me? I think that they would much rather hang out with the people they work with than me. I don't think anyone that works for me wants to hang out with Matt Wehrle.
But you got the ball rolling. That's what I'm like, for people that are
nobody wants to hang out with me, but I think they don't mind being around me, and I think they like the shop, and I think they like the people that they work with.
Right. So I'm just saying that, for someone that was in your shoes in 2017, it's you and two other people, if you make it if you're a good person and you like to talk, you create that culture by the relationships, right?
Yeah.
You make that effort, and then you start bringing.
You don't have to be a person that talks to everybody. You just have to be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just have to be nice.
Yeah. Be nice.
And
Present.
Yeah, and be present.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
How nice is it? We're in our Eagles events, our larger member event in Fort. Where are we? St. Petersburg, or where are we? I don't know.
We're in St. Pete.
St. Pete Beach. I traveling. I lose track of where I'm at sometimes. How nice is it to have these, all these Pete members and really friends at stuff like this? How valuable is that then?
It's been really good. Like, so that's the thing. Like, so CertainPath has taught me a lot, but so is like the other people in the rooms that you get into here.
Yeah.
You learn so much.
It's fun.
And I'm sure there's probably been one or two people learn something from me.
I think so. When we get together again, maybe a couple years, where's the company going to be then?
Well, I mean, my goal is to be at 50 million in the next 5 years.
50 next 5.
Yeah.
What's going to take to get there? What do you think?
Just HVAC and plumbing got to get started. And
Get going.
I mean, my electrical,
tackling.
but I think my electrical's like maxed out for where we're at right now.
Okay.
So, when we're at 50 million and we perceive that the electrical is only going to be at 12.
Mm-hmm.
So the HVAC and the plumbing have to take off because
Yeah.
you need an electrician once every 6 years in your house. You need a plumber once every 2, and you need HVAC twice a year. So.
That's right. Well, I'm very excited to see what it looks like. I believe you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, Matt, thank you so much for your time. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you.
The Successful Contractor podcast is part of the CertainPath family. CertainPath builds successful home service businesses and has for 25 years. We do it by providing contractors with a proven path to success, professional coaching, software solutions, and a member community of 1,000 plus strong. Doubling your sales with a 20% net profit and an inspiring company culture is all possible. Let us show you the way. With CertainPath, success is made certain. Visit www.mycertainpath.com for more information.